Well, hey everybody, welcome back to Steve's Garage. I'm Steve, and you know old Earl here, right? So Earl, how do you think the car's coming along? Ain't got no gas in it. Well, I know that's true. Anyway, been working on the brake lines here. I'm going to show you what's going on. Today we're going to finish up the brake lines, and we are going to get ready to bleed everything out, and hopefully all the fittings are good. Now, one thing about the whole thing is the fittings is a whole nother language. There was, when you start talking about parts, 7/16, 24, inverted flare, all this kind of stuff. And when you have a car, you can't go into the hardware store and go, hey, I need this, or the auto parts store and say, I need this or I need this. They go, what car to come off of? Well, we don't have that case because 1929 Model A didn't have juice brakes, and that's what we're trying to do. So it took me a long time to get all the different parts I need because I'm mixing, different things. I bought, a brake system from Speedway Motors, and I'm trying to get all the fittings correct. Anyway, finally got them all after a couple weeks of screwing around, and let me show you what's going on here. So you saw one of my last videos that we're putting the brake pedal in here, and everything went well. So, but finding all the fittings to go into the reservoir was, another story. Just, I don't know that language. It literally is a language, of knowing all the different sizes of all this stuff. This here is going to be my brake light switch, which will run on pressure from the brake line, which will, push a little bladder in there, which will make contact from, this is the hot wire to here, and then the wire that comes out back to the brake lights, and then it'll make contact and bring power back to the brake lights when you hit the brakes. So kind of solves another little issue with, trying to put a brake switch in. So here is, this fitting in here. We went through, this is all bolted in nice, so everything we put this is a compression washer in here to make that seal, and then ran this driver's side line down and in here. So I'm making my own lines, and I've got these tools here. Here's an old Craftsman. There it is. My father would be proud of that. He made Craftsman tools. This is a Craftsman flaring tool, and I've got a little cutter here to cut the cut the tubing. And so we've got a piece ready to install. I've done most of it, but I thought you could work with me putting one in together, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to bring the camera around to this side here and get set up. Another beautiful day out here in Western Mass. We do have that smoke coming down from Canada from all the wildfires. I don't know if you can see the haze in the trees here, but that's smoke, and the sky's all hazy from smoke from the wildfires from Quebec. Who'd have thought? So let me get you a visual here. So this this tubing is 3/16, and this will show you a flared end, right? So I made that flare. Then this fitting comes up and fits that flare. Then that will go into your the male side of the fitting down below here. And I keep a piece of tape on here because that wants to fly all around. So if you've ever made these before, you'd be chasing them around. They fall off and onto the floor, and that's that. So I've already kind of knew what I want for a length, so I pre-cut that. This is going to go in here. So they do have all kinds of different tools for bending this stuff, but I just tend to give it a little bend, and you got to go carefully so you don't kink it. And you can do it by hand. It's not that hard. There's actually a little thing in here. And that's that. Just got to get that into a 90. That will go there. We're going to wind up going underneath this here. So it's like plumbing in a way. And we can see him screwing that fitting in. Always seems like the camera's never in the right spot. So that's for now. That's where we are. And now I'll bring you over to here. And this is where we're going to wind up with this piece. So, trying to get my length here. Again, like everything, we're kind of learning as we go. So, I want to run this in so I can get it towards the frame, because I want to be able to put a little clip on that afterwards. I'm going to take about an inch or so off of it. So we'll take a little cutter, put that on. I'm hoping that's in where you can see it. No. Drop it down a little bit. And there it is. I'm going to bring you to the other side and I'm going to show you how I make the flare. Excuse me. It's awfully dusty and cloudy. We have the pollen and we have this smoke issue, so it's pretty bizarre. All right, so I'm going to take this off from the other side. Now, we take the flaring tool. If you can see here, these have a little bit of a flare on them right there. See where my thumb is? So when we compress this piece in, which I'll show you, but let me get it into the tool first. So you want that just sticking above the metal, not by much. This is pretty difficult to do while you're on camera. Open that up a little bit. So let me tighten this piece down. Tighten this down. Of course, your thumbs aren't that strong, so I crank it down with some pliers. And then, this is where the magic happens. You have this piece here, see? Has a point on it. Hard to show you all this the way it is. And that goes right into the pipe. It's very easy when you're not trying to look at the camera and do this. So there you go. So now this is where the flare comes in. You're tightening that pointed end down in. You bottom out. And you take it off. And you can see now. See how it's flared right in that piece, nice and flush. And that takes a few times just to get the feel for it. And but once you do it, nothing to it. Once you do it, nothing to it.